while I'm coming off the court getting drenched. Who a how to be? Who got a lot of D? Who popping like a P when he be hopping?
Hey LEI BAES, welcome back. It's your girl Amaya Soleil, and today I'm back with another video. And as y'all can tell by the title, this is the last, baby. The final part to this story time. Won't be no more parts after this. So with all of that being said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow all my social medias down in the description box down below. And let's just get right into this story time. Alright, so boom, in part 2, I think I left off telling y'all that girl bestie basically started talking about boy bestie to me. When we was planning that Myrtle Beach trip to go on for her birthday, remember that trip that fell through? Yeah, that one. When we started talking about the trip expenses, she would always say how boy bestie so cheap. He too cheap for this. He too cheap for that. Oh no, we can't do this excursion because boy bestie gonna be too cheap. He's so cheap. I was thinking like, damn, you making this seem like he cheaper than Mr. Krabs and Julius from Everybody Hates Chris combined. Then she gonna send me a TikTok of this boy talking about something, don't he look like boy bestie, and the boy was ugly. So I know she was trying to be funny. She knows she was trying to be funny because that boy didn't look nothing like boy bestie. No shade, but boy bestie face card eats. He's a very handsome man. Even girl bestie, I'm not no hater. I'm gonna keep it real. She wasn't even ugly. If that's one thing I can say about this trio is none of us was ugly. The face cards Zooey eating. Then on top of them two things, whenever boy bestie wanted to go smoke with his other friends, because me and girl bestie didn't smoke as heavy as boy bestie did, so whenever he wanted to go hang with his smoker friends instead of girl bestie, she would call me up and be talking about some, all boy bestie want to do is smoke. He ain't gonna never be nothing in life. Telling me how basically on his day off, all he want to do is smoke and sleep, and always calling him a bum, always talking about how he ain't gonna be nothing in life. She would even say how me and her gonna be doing things with our life. We gonna be growing. We gonna be becoming bigger and better. And he ain't gonna do nothing but wait tables all his life at Buffalo Wild Wings. I just remember that was her favorite thing to say. He ain't gonna be nothing. He just gonna wait tables at Buffalo Wild Wings all his life. He a bum. He don't wanna never do nothing but smoke. All he think about is smoking. He ain't gonna be nothing. He ain't gonna be. He gonna do shit. I never talked about boy bestie to her because for real, I didn't have nothing bad to say about boy bestie. I didn't know his business all like that. But also, I thought it would be dumb to talk about his girl bestie to him. Like she wasn't gonna go back and tell him. I always seen them as a unit. And boy bestie ain't never talked about girl bestie to me. Ever. Even that day where he had got fed up with her and was like, I just feel like I'm being thrown up under the bus. He never talked about her. He never aired out whatever they talk about in private. That was the only thing he said. He never talked bad about girl bestie to me. So I don't know why she felt so comfortable talking about him to me until I sat back and I thought about it and I was like, well, she probably talked about me to him to me. She's fake. That's what fake people do. Then after that, I basically started school in June. Plus, since I told them I was no longer planning stuff anymore, we all kind of hung out less and less and less. I mean, we had a few more link ups that they planned, but really towards the end of July, like the beginning of August, we all pretty much stopped hanging out all together. Like, it was really no official fallout or anything. Like, nothing really big happened. I just got really caught up with school. Like, school started taking up all my time, even my weekends. And then also, like I said, my grandma passed March 6, 2022. This was like August 2022. What is that, like 5 months? Me and my family was still grieving. So I was really caught up with school and family. Me and boy bestie already didn't have no type of bond outside of the trio, like outside of all of us hanging out together. So it should be a given that after we all stopped hanging out, me and him no longer even communicated. We didn't even keep in contact. The only thing I can say about boy bestie is while in school, I did need to practice waxing and I didn't have any models to practice on. So I did text a group chat with them and I was like, hey, can one of y'all come into my esthetician school, you know, one day this week so I could practice waxing on y'all. Y'all could pick whatever body part. And boy bestie did come through for your girl. He did come through for me. Now, girl bestie, on the other hand, she always kept in contact. She would text me little stuff about Tusi. I think at this point, his baby mom was still pregnant. So she would text me little updates about that. Send me little things that he posted on his story. She would ask me for advice regarding her relationship. Or sometimes she would send me TikToks, you know, here and there. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I would ask her for advice on little things that was going on at my first esthetician school. And if you watch that story time, then baby, you know. It was just a lot on my mental health. Other than that, boom. Fast forward to December 2022. My birthday month, what Nikki said, I'm in my prime. Optimist. Sagittarius, so you know I'm an optimist. Man, keep it all real, I'm a prophetess. So at least you took an L off your bucket list. No, but for real. So I had called, you know, girl bestie over sometime December 2022. And I was like, hey girl, you know, can you come over to take my pictures on this Fuji film camera? You know, I'm trying to recreate these old Polaroid pictures that I found of my grandma's. You know, she was wearing this sexy and cute lace red lingerie, looking all sexy and, you know, spicy and shit. And I was like, you know what, I want to recreate those Polaroid pictures of her for my birthday. It was my first birthday without her, so that's really what I wanted to do. And unfortunately, nobody else was available for me to take them, so I had to call my girl bestie. And girl bestie did come through. She did come through to come over and she took the pictures or whatever. But because we hadn't really been hanging out, we hadn't really been talking for real, it was kind of a little awkward. So to break the awkward silence, you know, break the ice, I start asking her, you know, questions about boy bestie. I'm like, oh, you know, how boy bestie been? She told me, you know, he good. And then it starts clicking. Oh, baby, we in December. His birthday was in September. In his birthday month, I didn't even think about him, but because girl bestie standing right in front of me and I always hung out with girl bestie and boy bestie, I obviously thought about him. And I was like, oh, you know, how was his birthday? She basically had told me how they had went to this club called Scorpios down here that we always had went to as a trio. And when she told me that's where they went for his birthday, I was like, oh. But I didn't get an invite this time. And I didn't feel no type of way about not being invited to his birthday celebration at that club. It just confirmed to me that he didn't see me as a friend just like I thought. Because like I said, this entire time I have been gaslighting myself. Even though now I know that was my intuition warning me. At the time, I thought I was just assuming things because of all the other bad friends I had before them. You know, I thought I had friendship PTSD. But in that moment, it just confirmed it for me. No, you're not tripping. You don't got friendship PTSD. He did not see you as a friend like you thought he did it. Because, I mean, on your birthday, you usually want to spend it with your friends and your family, right? All his other friends was at the club. So for me to not have been invited, clearly you ain't see me as a friend. Now, during the process of her taking my pictures, we obviously talked and got back semi-cool. So yeah, we back semi-cool or whatever the case may be. And if you know me, you know I always keep me a roster.
I keep a couple on my roster, never just one.
Typically, I always got a favorite nigga or two. And my favorite this time was trying to be toxic. Y'all, he was really trying to ruin me. And I'm not going to get all into this situation because I got to make a separate story time on that. Y'all, he put a love spell on me and everything. But now that we back semi-cool or whatever the case may be, I had started to vent to her about our little toxic situation because she had always vented to me about her man problems. So, unfortunately, I felt sort of comfortable talking to her about that topic, which is stupid. Very, very dumb of me. I don't even know why I was asking her for advice or talking to her about the situation anyway. Because for one, she stayed with her own cheating man. And then for two, she already showed me she ain't to be trusted. But I'm gonna give myself grace. I'm gonna give myself grace because I was going through grief brain at the time. But no matter what I told her, she will always tell me to stay with this man. I could tell her he whooped my butt and kicked me out his house in the middle of the night naked with no way home, and she'd still be like, oh, you know, I just think y'all going through a rough patch. He really loves you, girl. You should stay with him. That was her favorite thing to say. I think he really loves you, girl. I think y'all could work this out. Y'all, she even went as far to ask me for his number so she could try to play matchmaker whenever we had got into it and we wasn't talking to each other for a while. Y'all, she even did a pull-up on this man with me. The whole ride over there, she just hyping me up, talking about something, yeah, and if he with a girl, he over there with a girl, I'ma beat the girl up while you beat him up. She was popping it real bad, going into detail how she gonna hit her with the 2 piece, then she gonna uppercut her, then she gonna drag her. Like, baby girl was giving me detail for detail, hyping me and her up. She got both of us in the car hype. I'm thinking, yeah, we might as well rob a bank after this too. That's how hype I am. Just for us to finally get there, and she never even got out the car, only I did. Meanwhile, all my other homegirls would give me good advice and tell me, you know, I need to stop talking to him. Now let's fast forward to New Year's Eve. I had called up girl Bessie to see what she was doing for New Year's Eve because everybody else I knew was going out to the club and I just really wasn't in a clubbing mood. I mean, if y'all really know me, y'all know I'm not even a club girl for real. I'd rather be on a trip. You know, like I can go to the club, you know, every now and again, but for that to be an every weekend turn up, that's just not for me. So when I called her, she had told me that she was just planning on staying home and making a vision board. So I was like, ooh, you know, girl, like, that sounds like my type of vibe. You know, can I come make one too? If you don't want me coming to your house, you know, we could always do them at my house. Y'all wouldn't believe girl Bestie gave me a full-blown attitude on the phone. I was like, okay, well, I ain't gonna be making vision boards then. Like, it's fine. Like, I ain't gotta come, baby. You enjoy making your vision board by yourself, but the attitude really wasn't necessary. You could have just said no. I just was like, you know what? Here she go being on that weird stuff again. You know, we just got back semi-cool and here she go again on that weird stuff. I don't have time for it. So I just left it at that. I didn't really say nothing to her on the phone. I was like, oh, okay, girl, well, you enjoy making your vision board. And I just hung up. I left it at that. And one of my New Year's resolutions was to leave that entire friendship alone because I'm just so tired of the weird stuff. Like, y'all so sometimey. One day it's, oh my gosh, we want to be outside all summer. We want to be outside all summer. Then all of a sudden I'm hearing people blurting out that we both said we didn't want to hang out all the time. Well, which one is it? It's, oh my gosh, I love you so much, Amaya. I love you so much. I miss you so much. I want to hang out. I want to see you, blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, you making weird faces and you mugging me every time I look up from my phone. Or you starting these play arguments with me, telling me how much you want to fight me and really sizing me up like you really on that type of time for real. You never hit me up when it was time to go to the hookah lounge. Then once confronted about it, it was, oh, we never even went. It's just like, I'm tired of the weird stuff, okay, baby? Y'all do too much. I'm drained at this point. I'm done. But just because I was done with girl Bestie and that whole friendship trio, whatever y'all want to call it, doesn't mean she was done with me. I ended up graduating school March 23rd, 2023. 2 days later, girl Bestie gonna text me a paragraph talking about some, oh, congratulations on graduating school. She admitted to giving me an attitude during that call on New Year's Eve. Then she ended up telling me that the reason why I ain't heard from her since then is because she been in the psych ward all of this time. She also added some very sweet affirmations in the text as well. But getting this text from her was super weird. And it wasn't just weird because I haven't heard from her since New Year's Eve. And it wasn't weird because she just told me she just got up out the psych ward. But what was weird to me is, how did she even know that I graduated? Yeah, I posted my graduation pics on Instagram, TikTok. You know, I posted all about it all over social media. Cool. The thing that makes it weird though is she wasn't in my Instagram story views. She wasn't in my graduation picture likes. She wasn't on my views on TikTok. She wasn't in the likes on TikTok. And before y'all be like, oh, boy bestie probably told her. Boy bestie probably told her. No. The last time I had heard from him was like August 2022. We had been unfollowed each other, been stopped texting, been stopped seeing each other. So he don't follow me on social media. And you ain't making yourself seen on social media. How the fuck did you even know I graduated to send me that text? Like, I start thinking like, hold on. Is she one of the monitoring spirits some people on TikTok be talking about? Because I know you had to have known because I posted the photos on social media. But you ain't making yourself seen on social media. Like, you been watching me all this time or something. Like, baby, it's giving monitoring spirit. And that shit kind of creeped me out. Because you just watching me and I don't even know that you watching me. And then it's like, how long have you been watching me and I didn't know you was watching me? So even though I felt like that was weird and I was a little bit creeped out because of that, she did say some very sweet, positive, you know, affirmations at the end of the text. And she asked, you know, basically if we could hang out again. And I got a big heart, so I was willing to, you know, try again. Plus, the friendship wasn't all bad. You know, she had gave me compliments from time to time. She also drove me to and from the airport. And it was 30 minutes out the way from her crib. Plus, she had went the extra mile and bought me a bear with my grandmother's voice in it once she had passed, even though I only asked her to send me a website of a place where I can get the bear from and buy it for myself. She had went the extra mile and bought it for me. Even though something was definitely off about that bear. But I'm going to have to tell y'all that story in this video. So a couple days after she sent me that paragraph, y'all, we hopped on the phone and we was talking about her experience in a psych ward. I had never been to a psych ward. I heard stories about it. So I was just curious about what was her experience in the psych ward. So I was asking her a couple questions. I asked her, you know, was the food decent? She was like, yeah. Then another question I had asked her was she allowed to use her phone? She gonna tell me, yeah. She talked to her cheating boyfriend, which was the reason she was in there in the first place. She also spoke with her mom and boy bestie, of course. But the next person she told me she talked to, it was a surprise to me. It was a shock to me. She gonna tell me she also talked to the girl that they were in a trio with before I got into a trio with them. She spoke to that girl while she was in a psych ward as well. Soon as she told me that, it all started to click. Because like I told y'all, really after the end of July, we all never hung out again as a trio. And even though I knew that I got caught up with school and family, I didn't know what they got caught up doing. I just thought we all was no longer hanging out because I was no longer planning stuff anymore. But after she told me that, I was like, oh, no. Y'all went back to y'all original third person that y'all was in the trio with before me. Then, aside from that thought, this may have been a selfish thing to think about, but I instantly start thinking, well, you text me 3 months later talking about something you just got off the psych ward. You made it seem as if you hadn't been talking to nobody and you just got back into society. Turns out, you've been keeping in contact with the people you really wanted to keep in contact with. And in that moment, I realized even though I was open to the friendship when she sent me that text, I'm just no longer open to it. Like, I don't feel like we have to be friends. We don't have to have that title. We can just be cool. By this time, I had learned that it's levels to this shit. Everybody don't deserve the friend title. It's okay to have acquaintances and it's okay to just have people you just cool with. So with that thought in mind, her birthday ended up coming up again, April 4th, 2023. I FaceTimed her to call her and tell her happy birthday because, you know, with me, it's not no beef. I just now know my place with y'all. We cordial, not friends. And it's honestly no hard feelings. I'm very thankful for the clarity. On top of that, I wasn't even interested in being a part of the trio anymore. She just always kept in contact with me, so I wasn't opposed to going out to brunch from time to time with just me and her. So anyway, she answers the call when I called her on her birthday. She answers the call, and y'all, why are the three of them in Myrtle Beach? They wasn't just in Myrtle Beach, but they were in the same exact hotel I was in when I went to Myrtle Beach, down to the room type. I was in a 1-bedroom ocean view suite, and that's exactly what they were in. And I could tell because when she flipped the camera when we was on FaceTime, the balcony was the exact same, and they had the exact same view that I had. I don't know where the clip went of me explaining why this was weird to me. I don't know where it went, so I'm just going to replace it. This was weird to me because that particular hotel that I stayed in, that they ended up staying in a year after when they went, was one of the hotels that when we was on the phone talking about the trip and the trip expenses, that was one of the hotels I wanted to send in the group chat, but she had told me, oh no, boy Bessie too cheap and that hotel is too expensive. She knew that he wouldn't have wanted to pay for it, even though we were splitting all the expenses 3 ways. So it's just funny to me that, what, he's no longer cheap anymore, or what, he just no longer cheap now because he rather split it 3 ways with y'all 3 as a trio. Maybe he got his money up, but you never told me he was broke. You told me he was a cheap person. You can be cheap and still have money. That just means you don't want to spend it. Broke is when you don't have the money at all. Now, I don't care about being invited this time, do y'all? I already went and I didn't have to split the expenses between 3 people to go. Plus, I was in Miami at the time for my graduation trip, having a ball. But it is just so ironic how the trip did not fall through now that y'all got y'all original third person back. And after that phone call, we really didn't even talk much after that. She didn't reach out. She didn't try to keep in contact. I didn't try to keep in contact. And after being in therapy, I ended up reflecting on this entire situation with my therapist from October 2021 when I moved to North Carolina to April 2023, that last phone call. Then I just blocked the both of them on everything. Cause I just had to realize they were never my real friends. I think girl bestie was either jealous or intimidated by me. I don't know exactly why. It could have been a variety of things. She always told me how she wanted to be a content creator. I had already achieved that. I was getting wigs sent to me left and right and left. Meanwhile, she had one deep curly wig that she had to wear over and over and over. Before I had met the man that put a love spell on me, I was going out on dates. Like, I always keep me a roster. Okay, I was going out on dates, being wine and dine, getting gifts. You know, just having my way in life. Just having my way with men. Meanwhile, she was in like a 6-year relationship being cheated on. She knew financially I was super straight. Meanwhile, she wasn't. I even dressed up all cute and girly, well put together. I would never say I put it on, but I'm always well put together. I'm never gonna look a full-blown mess. She, on the other hand, didn't know how to be well put together. She didn't know how to put outfits together. She didn't even know how to like dress up a two-piece. So she always stayed in like baggy shorts, sweatpants, and graphic tees. Down to our cars. My car was newer and had a lower mileage than hers had. Even down to our body types. You know, she big back, I'm little back. None of that materialistic, superficial ass shit even matters to me. And it damn sure don't make me better than the next. But I can see how a person that don't have all of that could possibly feel some type of way towards somebody who does. Another theory I have is, I think it could be the fact that in their little best friend duo, she kind of runs things. She be bossing boy bestie around and he just lets her. Even when me and girl bestie had our little play arguments, boy bestie usually stayed out of it until she put him in it. Me and girl bestie would be going back and forth for a little while until she felt defeated, and then she needed some backup. She would tag her boy bestie in, and that's when he would get in. Only when she put him in it. He stayed out of it otherwise. I could tell he felt like, oh shoot, you know, my bestie done put me in it and I gotta stick beside her. She's used to calling all the shots. She's used to running him. But it's no running me. I'm my own person with my own mind and my own free will. I'm a leader, so I'm gonna always do what I wanna do. So I don't think she responded well to another dominant woman being a part of the group because she's used to being, you know, top dog of the group. I really do think that's where all that, oh, I could beat you up stuff even came from. Like trying to intimidate me, maybe. Honestly, nobody knows her true intentions besides her, but those are just, you know, a couple of theories me and my therapist had came up with. The only other thing I do want to add in about boy bestie, because like I said, he really didn't do nothing to me aside from, you know, him being tagged into me and girl bestie play arguments and him saying that he would jump me with her like he's not a man. The only other issue I had with him was he always gave me like this standoffish vibe. It was a vibe of, you know, you cool girl, but not that cool. And I think that was because he just wasn't feeling the replacement, you know, of the original third person in their previous trio. I definitely think he liked the dynamic of their previous trio more than our trio. And I only say that because when I FaceTimed her in Myrtle Beach, he was in the background. He said hi to me, and I finally saw the face of the third person. That was the same third person that got invited to his birthday when I wasn't invited. So it just goes to show clearly you invited her, you want to be around her. I think he liked their trio better, I guess. Maybe that's why he was so standoffish. Either way, I'm done with this story, okay? There's part 3. That's the end of part 3. I do have another subscriber story time that I could tell y'all about because I actually was cool with 3. 1, we never made it to be in person because he was just weird and he was gay, because I don't want y'all thinking I'd be hunching, munching, and humping on my subscribers. He was gay, but he like said a couple of weird things on the phone with me, and so we never made it to hanging out in real life because I cut him off. The second girl, she was all over the place. She done had sex with twins and, well, quadruplets, and then she fought her roommate over it, and then she lied to me about the entire situation, had me ready to go to bat for her, had me thinking they was picking on her. I was ready to ride for her because she was my new friend. Turns out she was lying. She was off the chain. And I just found out she actually got a baby by one of the quadruplets. So that whole story time is a lie. If y'all want that one is some tea. Just comment down below and I'll give it to y'all. But I'm about to go outside and celebrate the 4th of July.